So good to be with you guys. Our interpretation will start in just a second. I'll say something about tonight's topic, and then we'll start our rooms where we have interpreters.
我哋好快
Do you want
就
to
會
put
打
that
開我
first
哋個
slide
翻
up,
譯線
Franklin, that has the
如果我哋
interpretation?
打開咗我哋個翻譯系統嘅時候咧，家長你哋選擇你個喺個視頻下邊有一個圓球嗰度咧，你會寫住 interpretation， 你就選擇你個語言嚇。
Okay, hold my hands.
Vamos a empezar esta noche, luego a meternos a los salones de interpretación. Si no saben cómo hacerlo, están poniendo ahorita una hoja para que puedan hacerlo. Si tienen alguna pregunta, no sientas el libre de ponerlo en el chat.
And while we're getting set up, while we're giving one more minute for people to join, why don't we start our chat? So please type into your chat. What are we having for dinner tonight? What are we having for dinner tonight? Just so we can all feel each other's connection.
好，我哋做少少熱身喺個 chat box 嗰度咧，寫低你哋今晚晚飯食咗啲乜嘢。
Y nada más un poquito antes, vamos a esperar unos minutos más para que más personas se conecten. Por favor, vamos a empezar con el chat. Métanse en el chat y dejen qué es lo que hay para la cena.
The second largest county is Gwinnett County. They still have 4,000. The fourth largest county is
Thank
Kent
you.
County. They still have 7,000.
Go.
I'm going to go ahead and send you guys Lacey and Joanna.
OK，我哋個翻譯熱線準備打開啦，大家陣間打開咗就可以選擇你個語言功能嚇。
Ya vamos a empezar cuánto de interpretación para que
Yeah. I just I'm in a Zoom meeting. I'm in a Zoom meeting. I don't know. Oh, the school's moving.
We locked the ballot boxes. We did not accept any ballots after 7 o'clock. I also want to mention to you, they scan the ballots here, they then go to counters in a different.
I need to mute for the election coverage. Get the latest in election coverage. All right, well, I'll get started. Good evening, everyone. My name is Franklin, and we want to welcome you to our parent landing pad. Again, interpretation is being offered tonight. So I want to thank our team from the school district. Lacey is translating and Joanna is translating tonight, so thank you so very much. Also want to thank our team from the school district and James Parish, who is on hand for tonight. If you have been with us for the previous sessions, then you know that my presenting partner, you might notice, is not here tonight. She's a little under the weather, and we're certainly going to miss Gingy, who's a part of our team here at Blaze. The Family Learning Series gives us an opportunity to bring ourselves together, parents and caregivers, to have a moment to connect on what makes us more alike than unalike in this season. We are all homeschooling. We've never been here before, and we all need a place where we can connect as parents and as caregivers and others, folks who love our children and their education. But also if we need to say, hey, what's going on with you? We can have that place where we tap into our resilience because we understand
right now.
As we work with our children in their social emotional development, the big secret is that we as parents are also still developing socially and emotionally. So we ask that you partner with us on this journey as we go into the uncharted places. We are writing this book together. Gingy and I, for those of you guys who are new tonight, are part of an organization right here in San Leandro called Blaze Consulting Group. We provide consulting, coaching, and technical support to nonprofit and public sector leaders throughout the state of California. In many cases, doing leadership development. And We also, prior to this, I highlighted before that prior to becoming a consultant 6 years ago, I worked in Oakland and Alameda schools running community services. Most recently, my most recent stint was running all community programs at McClymonds High School and Base Charter School. So that's a little bit about us, and I'm sure you can look us up on the web. Tonight, our outcomes is to take a moment as a community to share and explore, to reflect on our needs as caregivers and parents, and to explore strategies to support you in your learning doing distance learning. And these are the same outcomes that have been the thread from now until we get to winter break. We'll continue again after winter break, but we may shift a little bit in the theme that we are working on, which is social emotional learning and social emotional development. So let's get started tonight. Our first question for you is, as we sit in this holding pattern called the presidential election, what element do you most feel like in this moment? Fire, water, earth, or wind? What element do you most feel like in this moment? Fire, water, earth, or wind? And I'll pause before we start to answer. I invite people tonight, whether you are on video or if you are audio, to unmute yourself. Let us hear your voice. Let us connect. Or else you can use the chat as well.
Fire.
Fire. Why is that, Christian?
I'm just hot, man. I thought I was going to wake up to a different country today, and turns out, same country.
Thank you for sharing that.
Feeling like Earth, just grounded, stabling myself to see what's going to take place.
Nice, nice. Anyone else want to come on to the audio? Here, I see also Sonia Eva De Leon. I see you said Enciento Agua. I see fire. So it just gives us an opportunity to check in with ourselves and see where we are, how we're moving. I'm definitely, for whatever reason, feeling like wind today, and making gentle moves today. Gentle moves for myself, for my family, and for others. And I'm in a gentle. I think I'm kind of in a breeze. I'm in a breeze mode today. So thank you guys for answering those questions. Anyone else want to share from their perspective as we warm up into our topic for tonight? If you notice the pacing tonight, we want to make sure that we're cognizant of our translation that is taking place. I want to make sure that we're giving the chance for that to take place. So the Family Learning Pad series is right now scheduled for 5 parts. We are in social awareness on tonight. I do believe we'll be back on November 18th, so this is a little bit of a misprint. But we're in social awareness on tonight. We matched our sessions to social emotional learning and the 5 domains of social emotional learning. And so we wanted to match that up so that what we're asking from our kids, we understand that we're also asking of ourselves, and that we wouldn't ask our children to do something that we would not venture into. It takes risk. It takes being real. And it's all done through relationships. And so this gives us a space to practice our social emotional skills together. So we're social awareness. And guess what, everybody? Tonight, I also want you to know that if you've been with us, you know that a part of our time together is to have a raffle. And so I want you all to know that we are having a raffle tonight. We're raffling off gift cards, and the only qualification of the raffle, or the way we do our raffle, is we choose randomly through the chat So you want to be able to engage the chat window tonight, or if you speak on camera, then you automatically, or you speak audio for those guys who are not on camera, then that automatically puts you into the raffle. So as we see your name in the raffle, we're entering you into the proverbial, it's not proverbial, but the metaphor bucket. And your name is. Just be aware of that. And that raffle will take place at the end.
¿Por qué está aquí en español? ¿No me lo pueden traducir?
You just mute someone. And then our agreement is that when you're not speaking, to go ahead and mute yourself. Please use the chat window to communicate. We love that. And that's been a very nice thing. And you can raise the hand icon, and myself and James will try to notice it. If not, just unmute yourself, start talking. It doesn't bother me. I can't, as the way my screen is set up, I do not see all of you all at once. And so if your hand is up and I can't see you, just go ahead and unmute yourself or write into the chat window. Try on the process. You have the right to pass. And for our comments tonight, let's respect each other's experience. So be open and be respectful. All right, multiple perspectives tonight. So there are 4 common household items that have a familiar function. What I want to invite you tonight is to go into your imagination, open up your brain and try to bring up that childlike creativity. Let's bring that to the fore and imagine new ways to use these common items besides their original function. So maybe I'll use the pencil and I'll attach a string and go fishing, right? Maybe I will use the brush and I will use it to play like it's a horse and ride in my backyard. And so what are some new ways that we can use these items that will stretch our imagination? So with that, we invite you to unmute yourself and to share some ideas. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's have some fun.
You can use the broom to paint.
To paint, absolutely. You can use the broom to paint. Thank you so much. I think I'm seeing Dianita.
Yes, that's correct.
Great.
You have
the chat window, Joanna says, the pencil to keep your hair up. What else? What else could we do?
M. Quintanilla use the hose like a jump rope.
What about the broom to just fly away?
Yeah. I really want to sometimes.
Maybe to a different country. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Excellent. You got to have imagination. That's what we're asking for.
What
Thank
else?
you, Myra.
Love to hear from some other folks. Annie, do you have an idea, or Tweet Lou? Betty? Or Ming? I would love to hear your ideas. What's a different way we can use pliers?
Someone said we can use the hose as a lasso.
Mm-hmm. Hose as a lasso. Or, I also thought of the, I was just looking at, thought of, these people do the slack wires, where you walk on you walk on it like a tightrope, but it's not quite tight. All right. So tonight we wanted to get our ideas and start to warm up our brain so that we can start to think about what it's like to use your imagination. So and also to think about how it is to have multiple perspectives. How do we grow our capacity to hold multiple perspectives? So let me just hear real quick. Did you have an idea, or did you hear an idea that caught your attention? Of the ones that were said, the lasso, the hose, the pencil to keep your hair up. Which ones caught your attention or made you say, "Huh, I didn't think of that"? Maybe someone can help translate Sonia's comment. I see you, Sonia. I see you being the broom to dance. I love it. That's right. You have a dance partner. How much effort does it take to use our imagination? Who's finding this a little hard to be silly like this?
It's hard at the end of the day.
It is hard at the end of the day. It is hard at the end of the day. Yeah, and it might be hard. It might be hard to be a little silly on a day like today. Yeah.
Ming says use a broom to fight bad guys.
Use the broom to fight bad guys. Thank you. Thank you for. There you go. And thank you for sharing that, Lacey. So take a look at this picture that I brought. Take a look at the picture that I brought. Someone unmute and tell me what's happening in this picture. What are we communicating here? What's this picture reminding us? Perspective. Thank you. And what about perspective? What about it?
Gabe, change your shoes now.
What about perspective?
Well, it's almost like we're all on the same boat, right? But you know,
不同角度有不同嘅想
have
法。
different perspectives on our current situation, basically.
You said we're all on the same boat. What's the second part of that, Mara?
I said that we're all in the same boat, but you know, we can have a different outlook on our
Well, I
current
mean-
situation. We're all in this together, but our outlook is probably different.
Right, exactly. And Quintanilla said everyone can see something differently, right? So if you're on the island, you want the boat. But if you're on the boat, you are like, wow, the island. We're all in the same scenario. We're on that same frame. And we're trying to figure out if we can have the capacity to see different angles and different needs. Was Ming trying to say something? And I just missed it. If so, I would love to hear it. From different angles, you see different needs. Exactly. Right? And so this is interesting that this, you know, we didn't plan this night, but it's very interesting to me that tonight is the night that we are scheduled to talk about being able to hold that we can see the same thing and have different perspectives and have respect for one another to, one, see that there's capacity to have multiple perspectives and to allow those multiple perspectives to be present, right? So let's look a little bit at the chat. Kyle said we may be in the same place at the same time, but see each other's situation as better than our own. Yeah, that is amazing. Kyle, do you want to say one more thing about that? That's so amazing.
Oh, I don't know. I just was thinking sometimes I feel that way. You know, I look around and, you know, I kind of wish, you know, you just one of those things where you got to be kind of grateful for what you have, you know, and what you can do with it, because we all have something that we can work together and make it better for another person. You know, instead of like looking inwards at ourselves, we can look outwards, because there's another person that would, you know, probably you know, want what we have. You know what I mean?
Right, right. So then, there you go. So then I love that last point. And it's not just that sometimes I want, or I'm aware of what someone else has that I wish maybe I could have, but to also be aware that somebody may be looking at us and thinking, wow, what good fortune this person has. I wonder if I can have what they have. And then I appreciate this. I bet you're translating Griselda, which is someone that is asking for help. Someone is happy to see the other person. That's interesting. So now we're looking at two different things, right? There's like, what is the behavior? But then also, what is the emotion? If we did this a different way, I could tell you, I can ask you the question, what are 5 facts that are true for you right now as we sit in the middle of waiting for the results to the presidential election? What are 5 facts about that? And what are 5 feelings? And are you aware that it's possible to have 5 feelings, and some of them about it, and some of them seem to be in conflict with the others? And that's okay. And we can develop our capacity as adults to separate, is that fact or is that feeling? Right? And so then how do I develop my capacity to be able to separate fact from feeling, and then be aware that there are 5 ways that I can feel about this. There are 5 perspectives that I can take about this, this situation. So let me ask you a question. How do you hold space for others who have a different perspective as you? What do you do to hold space for others who have a different perspective as you? You can write it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. What do you do to hold space for others who have a different perspective as you? And by hold space, I mean, how do you create the possibility that there will be more than one perspective or a different perspective as you? Myra said, lots of patience. It's very difficult. Someone else. I'd love to hear from someone who hasn't shared. We have 34 people here tonight. I would love to hear from some other folks. Let's look at it a different way. What gets in the way of hearing others' perspective? What gets in the way of hearing a different perspective? What gets in the way? Kyle says he has commitment to equitable respect. Steve says have an open mind to other perspectives. Have an open mind. So what gets in the way of us having an open mind sometimes? What do you know? Understanding. Oh, it takes understanding. It takes empathy. It takes understanding. It takes empathy. Mm-hmm. It takes patience. I don't know how to translate the sabiduria. Stubborn in your own beliefs. Oh, that gets in the way. Stubborn in your own beliefs. Listening, right? Because sometimes we listen to win as opposed to listen for the perspective. Right? Yeah, I just want to give hope for us to really allow ourselves to hear each other tonight. Thank you. Respecting the decision of someone, I think this is Griselda, respecting the decision of someone because we all have different opinions. and it takes patience. It takes patience. So how do we offer the grace to ourselves and offer grace to others, knowing that we are all we're all somewhere between the boat and the island, right? We're all somewhere between being in the boat or we're on the island, right? So let's have grace for each other's experience. I don't know what it was like to be on that boat for that long. And that person doesn't know what it's like for me to be on the island. It seems better, right? So then
Sabiduria means wisdom.
Wisdom. Right. And sometimes wisdom comes with age and experience. Keep living. That's as my grandmother would say, keep living. All right. So let's just add one more layer to this. And that question is, how does listening to other perspectives make you better? How does listening to other perspectives make you better? You get different perspectives.
I don't think I do it correctly.
help her, so I give her a driver.
Oh, let me get your sister, please.
I'm still on the freaking meeting, honey.
Let me see. Yeah, does it make you better? To what extent? So we have to, I think what the opportunity here for us is to think about what it means to, for two more seconds, to open ourselves up to different perspectives, to open ourselves up to learning. We have to move around, for us, we have to move around San Leandro and hold that everyone is having an experience, and we're all having a common experience, right? We're all having the common experience of COVID. We're all having the common experience of social change. We're all in this holding pattern where we don't know how long around the presidential election. And this is so interesting tonight because we designed this way back in August, September, but tonight's topic really reminds us that we get to hold grace and hold space for people to have multiple perspectives, and the idea that there are multiple perspectives that can be had. So I see someone said gives you options, you weigh the options, and then you have your own mind. We are not a collective, absolutely, right? We have personal authority, personal power, autonomy. And so that is absolutely true. And we have the opportunity to continue to constantly build ourselves up. I know if we're looking at it from the Stoics, they work on virtues, goodness, honesty, truthfulness. And so as we develop the type of adults that we want to be and then model that for our children, then we allow ourselves to constantly have never-ending improvement. All right. So then let's try, I'm going to try an exercise. And that is, our invitation tonight was, I wanted to see if we could practice acknowledging someone's strength tonight. Tonight, I want to give us the opportunity to practice generosity. And if practicing generosity is more important to give than to receive. And so I wanted to give us an opportunity to hear somebody who's on the call tonight share a story of success, and then we acknowledge their strength, acknowledge what their essence. And so for this activity, I would love for someone to share a story of a recent win that you had with your child, a recent win that you had with your child. I always teach, yeah. Would someone be willing to share a story of something that went well with their child recently? Even if you're on audio?
Perdón, Miss García, ¿puede repetir la pregunta?
Mm-hmm. All right, I just want to check in. What does the silence mean? Does the silence mean? What does the silence mean? Would someone type into the? I want to invite all of you guys to type into the chat any recent win that you've had with your child.
Ok, gracias.
Into the chat window. Let's use the chat. What's a recent win you've had with your child? Thank you. To live better and offer to your loved ones, to live better and offer to your loved ones a better space. And then Steve said, always teach, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's awesome. All of these are important, virtuous principles about how we want to be with each other in order to create community, right? So it's not, I appreciate that comment about we're not a collective and we are in community. And so how do we hold space in our community for those multiple perspectives, and how do we acknowledge strength, right? And so I want to offer you guys some prompts. Oh, great, Taylor. Thank you for giving us an example right on time. Taylor says, I don't have a child, but I counsel a student. Today he asked to stop playing a game with me because he was getting frustrated. Instead of becoming escalated, I consider this a win. Oh, he asked to stop playing the game instead of becoming escalated in his frustration. I consider this a win. That's awesome. That's awesome. Taylor, I would love to know what you would, what was your move that allowed, first of all, let's celebrate Taylor. I see people giving a thumbs up. And so in the slide, you'll see 4 ways that you can acknowledge somebody who is sharing a win, right? I acknowledge the patience that it took to get the win, or you can fill it in with whatever you think was that person's value or the action that person took. You can also, people love to hear that you understand their values, right? So after hearing about your win, I believe you value blank. And so you can acknowledge their value, or you can just say, I acknowledge whatever it took to overcome that hurdle, or acknowledge you for taking action in that way. So why don't we offer Taylor an acknowledgement in the chat window, or you can unmute yourself. Right here, let me move that. Oh, there. All right. Let's offer Taylor acknowledgement and practice acknowledging and celebrating others. It's about generosity. I saw some thumbs up. I saw the congratulations. Taylor, if you don't mind, we would love to hear what you did to move that student from the escalation to being able to make a request. My daughter finally learned how to ride her bike. Oh, precious, precious, precious. I acknowledge whatever it took to get your kid on that bike over and over again. Kyle says, definitely sounds like the kind of win to value during this time. Yes. Human beings want to know that they matter. Human beings want connection. And people want to be seen and known. And I have as a personal hope that we will continue to find ways to see each other and know each other during these times that we're in. Oh, Diana, my son did very well in his STAR testing. Can we offer some acknowledgements for Fiona and for Diana? could type it or you can speak it. It's about generosity. It's about generosity. All right. Thank you guys for sharing all of that. I really appreciate that tonight. And I really want to appreciate all of you all for trying on these activities and trying on this process. And Taylor, thank you. After hearing about your win, Lacey, I believe you value your daughter's accomplishments and her success. Felicidades from Griselda. All right. So this is our planned agenda for tonight. I want to just give anyone else a chance to share a win that they had with the group, because this is an important place. We do not acknowledge ourselves enough or celebrate the good things. So many times our brain cycles to what needs to be fixed, what needs to be solved, what needs to happen. And we need to slow down and be able to say, wait, something good happened today. Something good happened this week. There was a win, you know, being able to say my son did well in the STAR testing, being able to say my daughter got on that bike and all that it takes to be in that commitment, being able to get our child from 4 hours on screen to 3 hours on screen and off the roadblocks, right? I've been getting my kid, oh my God, you guys, my kid, I got him to be able to say this week that salad is not that bad. And so he's like eating, he will eat a 1/3 cup, exactly, a 1/3 cup of salad without complaint. And that's a breakthrough at 5th grade. So, you know, we're always, we're always trying to share some of the challenges that we're having. Before we go tonight, I want to say one more word that wasn't in our slide deck, but that's come up, which is today I overheard my son had his computer open, but he was also working on another task. And I realized that he was watching the election results on his computer on his own, and he's in 5th grade. And I had a realization that it's important for us in this topic of social to be aware that in our students' classrooms, they are having conversations about the presidential elections and even the local things that are going on. And so I just want to remind us to open up space for our children tonight and in the week, the rest of this week, to have them be able to express themselves with us around what their feelings are about the political landscape. So how many of you all, you can even, your reactions, how many of you are talking to your kids about the presidential race? Right, so we want to be able, thank you. And I really appreciate that people are still harming people. So we want to continue to have those conversations with our children from a social emotional perspective, and be aware that the journey for them is being aware, again, also for themselves, of their own perspective, forming their perspective, and being aware of other people also have perspectives, right? And so we're teaching our children that there are 5 feelings that people may have about it. There are 5 ways that we can look about it. And that can range, for example, from, you know, this is horrible, it will never end, to there's been a time where we've been through before, you know, or as I heard someone say, this is, an elder say, this is not the rough side of the mountain, or, excuse me, or I can't wait to see what the possibilities are. So perspective taking is something that we could practice and we could even have more fun with. And the same thing goes for, again, also as a reminder for social media. to just be aware of during this time where our kids are more on camera, any strategies that you want to share for how you are monitoring and talking with your children about social media, about gaming, and now they socialize through the gaming. I think this is a great place to share that. So let me just open up space. How are you talking to your child about social media and gaming? And do you have any strategies you want to share with the group about how you're approaching online interaction? I can't remember if it was in this group, James, that someone said they had no screen Wednesdays. I can't remember if it was in this group that they have no screen Wednesdays. So then once 6 o'clock hits and dinner hits, for the rest of the night, no screens. But the hardest thing I found, because then we started this at my house, was the hardest part, that was the adults. It was hard for me and Gingy to stay off our phones for no screen Mondays. What are you guys trying? And you can also chat it. Steve says he doesn't get to go on until I get home from work. Then he only has an hour to play. So not till after work, not till I get home, and then an hour. Yeah. So feel free to share with that. I will start to wrap, but please feel free to share any more ideas you have. And I say this, and we'll probably bring this back up in the mid-year, that with us being in this social isolation, I think it's a natural thing that the kids want connection. We as adults want connection. We as humans want connection. And so being able to talk with your student and be aware of the different ways that young people are socializing in the online platform, not just through social media, but now obviously through the gaming as well. And being aware of what I'm becoming as a parent, just to be transparent, I'm becoming aware more and more how many requests are being made of my child in an online platform. So, so like join me at 6 o'clock in this room, or I was just sharing with James today, he got an invitation to chat with a gamer, but it costs $50 to have that chat with a gamer. And I was like, okay, let's have a conversation about
Like it? Yeah.
why one would spend $50, why you would want to spend $50 to chat with this gamer. And so just continue to hold those conversations. Yeah. Griselda, I'm sure we're going to hear what you said. Oh, my son's been frustrated in the election. Who is going to win? I tell him not to worry, that everything will be okay, not to see the negative side of what he sees. And I think it's great that, Griselda, you've created that space and your son can share his frustration and to say, I'm frustrated, and that be his feeling. He gets to have those feelings, and then he gets to hear from you how you look at it, and he gets to digest that, figure out how that will work for them. So with that, I will start to wrap it up. Thank you for all your comments tonight. We're getting ready for the raffle. I do think that we are on for November 18th.
November 18th, that's correct.
Yep, November 18th. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. And let me just, 1, 2, 3. So let me just quickly pull I usually have Gingy so that I can do the raffle where you guys want. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're taking 4 names for the raffle. We picked them through random order from the chat window and the people who spoke tonight. And the winners are, so if you win the raffle, please make sure that I or James acknowledge your contact information. So even if you drop it in chat, make sure we confirm that we have it. Let me make sure I say it slower for the translation. And we need and most importantly, we need your email address and your phone number. Okay, so your email and your real name, because I know different people have different names up on screen. So the first person is Dianita11. Congratulations. So please type your name in the chat. Myra iPhone, please type your name in the chat and your information. And then Steve Kramer and Kyle. Did you have a last name, Kyle? Neptune Salisbury. So please type your name in the chat, and my team will send you by email a gift card. And for everybody else, I want to thank you so very much for being with us. Our next time we'll be together. We'll talk about relationships and supporting relationships with each other. So the continuation of this conversation, and we'll stay on if anyone wants to check in. We'll be on to check in as well. So thank you so very much. Have a great day. Have a good night. Say hello to me if you see me in Safeway. All right, so I am